My wife is an adult Disney fanatic, and we have been to Disney World 9 times. She just booked another trip to Disney. Honestly, I'm losing my mind. My wife, Marina, and I have been married for 13 years. We are both 39 years old. After going through financial hardships during our 20s and early 30s, we are now fortunate enough to be able to travel once or twice a year. The only problem is that Marina literally only wants to go to Disney World. We've been to Disney 9 times, and every vacation we've taken together has been there, including our honeymoon. So we go, we eat Mickey Mouse ice cream, we wear mouse ears, we stay in official Disney hotels, we see the characters, ride the attractions, take pictures in front of Cinderella's castle, and repeat the whole thing every trip. Honestly, I'm more than fed up with Disney, and I never enjoyed going there to begin with. Marina knows this, but she has no concept of traveling anywhere outside of Disney. Currently, we're planning a trip for April, and as always, Marina said we could go to Disney. I explained that it sounds fun, but I suggested we go somewhere like Hawaii this time. Marina looked confused and asked why we would go to Hawaii. I replied that we could enjoy the scenery and go to the beach. Marina muttered a half-hearted answer and walked away. A few days later, she came up to me saying she had booked a hotel in Hawaii. At first, I was excited because, although she didn't consult me, it seemed like she was really listening to me. But when she showed me the hotel she had reserved, I discovered it was Aulani, Disney's resort in Hawaii. Frustrated, I told her honestly that I was tired of Disney and just wanted a different experience this time. She said she was trying to meet me halfway and that I should be thankful for the time she spent making the effort. I asked her if she would consider any non-Disney location for our trip, and she said no. At that moment, I told her I wouldn't go. Now she's furious. She cancelled the reservation she had made and is now looking for a friend to go back to Disney World without me. Was I the jerk for not trying to compromise with her? 1 week later, here's the update. I messed up. I know most people didn't think I was a jerk, but Marina really did show a lot of openness to my idea. She took the initiative to book the hotel because she wanted to make me happy. When I said, no Disney at all, she felt like I had made zero effort to consider her feelings. And she was absolutely right, I hadn't. In some twisted way, it was my form of revenge for being dragged to Disney World so many times. In the last post, some people commented that Aulani doesn't even feel like a Disney resort. That's something I should have researched myself before confronting Marina. When I looked it up, it seemed like a regular Hawaiian resort. To be fair, going to Disney World 9 times has made me a little sensitive, and I'm pretty sure I'd see mouse ears on a Rorschach test at this point. But I really shouldn't have jumped to conclusions. One day after posting, I went to Marina and apologized. I was wrong. Yes, she may be an adult Disney fanatic, but aside from always wanting to go to the parks, she has never been obnoxious about it. I asked her to forgive me and if she could rebook the hotel, and Marina said she'd love to go to Aulani with me. When I told her it didn't even feel that Disney, Marina said of course she knew that. She wanted to go because her sister said it was beautiful. I am the jerk. Marina and I have replanned our vacation, and now we're both very excited to go. I came to this conclusion because so many people pointed out things I should have realized myself. Hello again, everyone. This all started because my wife Marina and I argued about going back to Disney World for vacation. I didn't want to go because we had already been 9 times, and when I suggested Hawaii, Marina booked a stay at Aulani, a Disney-owned resort. I immediately rejected the idea, mistakenly believing it would be just another Disney vacation. Over time, I realized I was wrong and that Aulani was actually a great compromise. Unfortunately, we won't be going to Aulani on our next vacation. A couple of days after Christmas, Marina had a minor car accident. She confused drive with reverse and backed into the garage door. When I heard the loud crash, I ran outside and found Marina sitting in the car holding her neck. I rushed her to the hospital where they did x-rays. She seemed fine, but the doctor said based on her symptoms, headache, neck pain, and numbness in her fingers, she might have whiplash. Marina and I thought she'd recover in a few days, but nearly 2 weeks later, she's still complaining of back pain. Yesterday, she told me she wouldn't be able to go to Hawaii for a few months. I asked her what she wanted to do, and very apologetically, she asked if we could postpone the trip. I told her she had absolutely nothing to apologize for. After that, she told me she felt bad for not being able to go to Hawaii, but that maybe she could go to Disney World. At first, I didn't understand, but she explained that Disney has great accessibility and, in the worst-case scenario, electric scooter rentals. She doubted that would be necessary but assured me that we could take things slow there. I know this isn't the ending many people here expected, and it definitely wasn't what I wanted for our next vacation. But Marina's health had to come first. We had already made our reservations. It wasn't where I wanted to go, but Marina was very happy right now, and that's what mattered most to me. I really wanted to believe that this trip would be different, that this time, Marina and I would find a balance, something we both enjoyed. After everything that happened with the accident, I thought the best thing was to give in. Her health was the most important thing, and if Disney offered accessibility, then so be it. We made the reservations, arranged everything, and I went along with the idea. But inside, something didn't sit right. Marina kept saying she had back pain, that she was still uncomfortable. I was worried, of course. I was present, attentive, helping her with everything she needed. But something didn't add up. Days before the trip, I noticed that Marina wasn't talking as much about her pain. She looked more energetic, full of life, as if nothing had happened. When I asked how she was feeling, she gave vague answers. "Oh, I feel a little better today," or "It still hurts a bit, but I'm taking care of it." Nothing concrete. Yet suddenly, I'd see her walking around the house normally, carrying heavy bags, climbing stairs without any problem. That made me wonder if she was really as affected as she said. We arrived at Disney, and it was like the accident had never happened. Marina was radiant, grinning from ear to ear, running from one place to another so she wouldn't miss a single attraction. I watched all of it with a mix of confusion and frustration. Where was the pain? Where was the concern for her health? She barely stopped to rest. And the worst part, she didn't even mention the accessibility that she used as an excuse to convince me to come. No wheelchair, no electric scooter, nothing. It was as if the accident had never happened. On the second day, I couldn't take it anymore and asked her directly, "Marina, what about the pain? Weren't you supposed to take it easy?" She laughed like I'd just told a joke. "Love, it's different here. The energy of this place makes me forget everything." That answer hit me like a punch. Forget everything? How does back pain just disappear because we're surrounded by children's music and people in costumes? It made no sense. I stayed quiet, but inside, something started boiling. Every step she took, every exaggerated laugh, every dash to the souvenir shops, it all started to feel more and more fake. She was acting like a spoiled child, like nothing else mattered. And I started putting the pieces together, the sudden pain, the strange accident right after Christmas, the insistence on postponing Hawaii but suggesting Disney instead, everything started to make sense. What if Marina had exaggerated the accident just to force this trip? The idea made my stomach turn. What if she had used it as an excuse to avoid a destination that didn't include Mickey and castles? I tried to push that thought away. I had known her for years, right? That couldn't be it. But the more I observed, the more it all added up. On the fourth day, we had an argument. We were in an endless line for another attraction, and I said, "Do you really feel okay? Because it doesn't look like someone who had an accident recently." She stopped, looked at me coldly, and said, "I already told you I'm fine. Why do you keep insisting? Can't you just enjoy yourself?" But I couldn't. That dry answer was the confirmation I needed. It was no longer about enjoying the trip, it was about being deceived, about how she manipulated the situation to drag me here again. And now, surrounded by adults in mouse ears and screaming kids, I realized I was completely alone on this trip. In the days that followed, Marina practically ignored me. She entertained herself with shopping, shows, lines. I just followed her in silence. There was no point arguing anymore. I had lost. But inside, something had broken. It wasn't just about Disney anymore. It was about trust, respect, the fact that the woman I had shared 13 years of marriage with had been capable of manipulating something so serious just to get her way. On the last day, while we were packing, she casually said, "Everything was perfect, right? I think we've never had so much fun." I just looked at her and replied, "It was exactly how you planned it." She went quiet for a second but then continued folding clothes like nothing had happened. In that moment, I knew something had changed between us. And when we got back home, things were never the same again. Ever since we returned from that Disney trip, something inside me broke. Marina was perfectly fine, without a single trace of pain, as if the accident had never happened. She no longer complained, no more talk of back pain or fatigue. She went on with her life full of energy, just like always, as if that whole health issue had been nothing but an insignificant detail. But to me, it wasn't. From that moment on, our relationship was never the same. The trust that had already been weakening during the trip simply vanished. Our conversations became short, affection turned distant. Marina was still herself, but the way she looked at me, the tone of her words, it was clear that now there was an invisible barrier between us. And me? I just couldn't trust her anymore. It wasn't easy to question Marina about the accident or how she had recovered so quickly. It felt useless. I knew that if I tried to talk about it, she'd come up with some excuse or change the subject. And to be honest, it was exhausting to argue, to doubt, to analyze every detail. It completely drained me. So I stopped trying. I stayed silent. I preferred to live with the doubt rather than wear myself out with pointless fights. But the resentment remained. And with it, came the distance. We spent months like that, coexisting like two strangers under the same roof. Our conversations were limited to the basics: bills, chores, responsibilities. Marina would sometimes talk about Disney updates, upcoming events, or what she wanted to do next time we went. I pretended to listen, forced a smile, nodded. But deep inside, I felt a huge emptiness. I was no longer part of that world. When the next vacation period was approaching, I decided I had to do something different. I didn't want to fall into the same cycle. So I took the initiative. I pretended I had booked a trip well in advance, to a completely new place, a destination far from anything Disney-related. A peaceful spot, surrounded by nature, where we could reconnect. When I told Marina, I was hoping for at least a hint of surprise, some genuine interest. But that didn't happen. She stayed silent for a few seconds, then let out a sarcastic laugh. Seriously? You booked a trip without telling me? And it's not even Disney? I swallowed hard. I tried to explain, to tell her that I wanted something different for us, something meaningful. But Marina just rolled her eyes. I'm not going. That's no fun. I already told you, Disney is the only place where I truly feel good. That broke me. It wasn't just the refusal, it was the disdain, the way she said it, as if my effort meant nothing. She didn't even try to understand me. In the days that followed, the atmosphere grew even heavier, until out of nowhere, Marina came and told me she wouldn't be able to travel during the vacation. She said she had to take care of a friend who was going through health issues. I nodded. I didn't argue. The truth is, I didn't have the strength anymore. It just felt like another excuse, another way to avoid any plan that didn't involve her perfect Disney bubble. That's when I realized, I was dragging myself through this relationship, living on autopilot, hoping something would change when deep down I knew it never would. Marina was trapped in her own world. And I was just there, fading away little by little. I decided I needed space. I didn't tell her right away, but I started pulling away. I stayed up later, left the house without saying anything, avoided long conversations. And to be honest, Marina didn't even seem to notice. Or if she did, she didn't care. I reached a point where I had to be honest with myself. I was no longer happy. There was no love left, just memories of what we used to be. I was carrying the weight of a relationship that only drained me, with no hope of getting better. Today, letting all of this out, I realize I should have set boundaries sooner. Maybe my mistake was always giving in, always trying to understand, always hoping for a change that never came. I believed marriage was a partnership. But what we were living had become a silent struggle, a battle where only one of us kept trying. And I got tired. I got tired of being ignored, of being manipulated, of pretending everything was fine. I got tired of being invisible in my own home. Now, looking back, I see that love shouldn't be a burden. It shouldn't be a game where one person always loses. And I lost. I lost time, energy, and above all, I lost myself. And deep down, Marina lost too. She lost someone who tried everything. But you can't fight alone for something that belongs to two. I just wanted to be happy, but not with someone who only thinks about herself.